Craig, and today for the Surfboard Guide, we're going to check out the keg by Rusty Surfboards. So the keg that I've been riding is a stock 6.0, and it's 6.0 by 19.5 by 2.5, and it's 31 litres. So if you might be familiar with the keg, we did our initial thoughts on the keg about 5 or 6 months ago. It's a shortboard that I've had in the quiver for a long time. Hurt myself, wasn't riding shortboards, kind of was on and off. And also didn't mind just holding on to this one for a little bit longer because I've been absolutely frothing out on it. So the keg is the pro model of everyone's favorite CT surfer, Wade Carmichael. Definitely a big fan of Wade, similar kind of height, stature to myself. He's a big, probably a lot fitter, maybe a little lighter, but love his, aggressive, heavy rail surfing kind of approach to surfing. I'm not an air guy. He can definitely do airs as well, but a lot of his surfing is on the face of the wave, just moving water. And I really feel I can kind of relate to that. Not that I'm surfing anywhere near that level, but I love watching it. And, most average surfers or everyday surfers who are probably checking out reviews like this are doing a lot of their surfing, on the face of the wave, on the rail, all that sort of stuff. So, a lot of people, big fan of Wade surfing. So for those reasons, I was pretty frothing to check out his pro model. So looking over the keg, the plan shape keeps a fair bit of width through the outline. So the nose of the keg and also the tail and the tail block are probably going to be a little bit wider than most other performance shortboards. What you're going to get from that is a little bit more foam kind of sitting under you when you're paddling, going to help increase kind of getting onto waves, getting across flat sections, and just make surfing really, really easy. Lifting and having a look from the side there, the rocker, nothing too crazy. Through the tail, it actually looks really quite flat. Flat through the belly, nothing crazy. Lift through the nose, and then it kind of looks like it just flips up at the end there. So a little bit of rocker, nothing crazy, and definitely enough to keep you out of trouble. But probably a little bit flatter than a lot of other performance shortboards. The rail feels like a bit of kind of a mid rail. I believe it's a rolled pinched rail, and it feels quite nice. It feels like the deck's definitely not flat, but it feels like it's flatter. And then what it does is it holds a lot of volume as it kind of comes to this apex, and then it drops away to, if it kept at that degree, it would be a fuller rail, but it drops away to a mid kind of rail. And I guess that's a way to kind of hold more volume out towards the rail without having a really full chunky rail. And flipping the Rusty keg over, it has a tested and proven single concave from the tip through to the tail. Single concaves are great. They're super easy to surf and they get water moving across a whole variety of conditions. Single concaves seem to work in small, junky, grovelly conditions, and they work really well in pumping waves. They don't get sticky, and I just find them, surfing local kind of suburban beach breaks, single concaves seem to work. They're just easy to surf across a whole variety of conditions. So you would have seen we did the initial thoughts probably 5 or so months ago. And I hadn't actually ridden it. In those initial thoughts clips we were doing, I'd normally ridden them once or twice to see my thoughts, but I hadn't ridden that. I'd actually got the board and I was just frothing on it because under the arm it felt absolutely amazing. I actually picked up a couple of boards at the same time when I got the keg, and I remember I don't normally compare them too much, but I just remember thinking how much better the keg felt under arm. But anyway, since then I've had quite a few surfs of it and I've been absolutely frothing on it. I've been lucky enough, and you'll see we've got some clips of the keg in some small average waves with not a lot of push, and some kind of bigger waves, a bit messy and a bit of grunt, but kind of to show how the board can kind of hold across a whole variety of conditions. But yeah, the keg has been amazing for me because I've grown up, surfing as a junior, competing a little bit and stuff like that, always riding shortboards. And as I've got older, the quiver starts to have a bit of variety with fishers, waves for small waves, and then boards for bigger waves and stuff like that. But I've always kind of kept a shortboard in the middle there for good days or good waves. What froths, and that's generally when a performance shortboard seems to work. What froths me out with the keg and boards like this that are really forgiving is the keg is a shortboard I can grab for almost any conditions. So I found the keg, as long as there's a little bit of push in the wave, the keg will work well in, knee to waist high, junky waves, as well as it will work in kind of 6 foot plus, 8 foot kind of big, junky or pumping waves. The keg can kind of do it all, and it's been amazing to grab it across all those conditions. Anyone familiar with Wade Carmichael surfing has probably seen his trademark turns and a little blow or a little flare of yellow coming out the back. Wade's been a huge fan, and I think I've only ever seen him ride the AM2 by Futures, which is the large Almeric template. So Futures have just changed that. It's kind of weird because it's been about a decade now. They've had a few design iterations of the AM2, but they've always been yellow. So they've just come out now with a new colorway, and I think like a medium's pink or something like that. But these are the largest. They're exactly the same. It's just a new colorway by Futures. The leading fins are black. You see the trailer's white. I started seeing it in a few surfers boards over the last 6 months or something, like Jack Robbo, Jago Dora, and I was like, what the hell are they? But yeah, they're just the new AM2s. They've just been released in Australia, so you can get these now. Same template, it's a raked fin. I'm a huge fan of AMs. I feel like I can get on them. I know the fin, so it really helps me know if the board's working or it isn't working, and I can change fins from there, you know, if I want to, but it really helps me feel out of board because I feel like I know this fin so well. But yeah, same outline, same design, same construction, you know, same flex and everything as the AM2. So if you're a fan of the yellows by Futures or the large Almeric by FCS, same fin. Wade rides this, I ride this, it felt really good. I checked out a few different other fins, but I couldn't fault this, and this really worked in the keg. And I guess that's why you see Wade, whether he rides his kind of step ups or his smaller wave boards or everything, he just seems to stick to the AM2. It's a great fin, it works, and it definitely worked really well in the keg. If you think about ordering a keg, it's a shortboard for almost anyone, like I said. It'll work for someone who's probably going from like mini mal to more fun, kind of forgiving boards into a shortboard. If this is your first performance shortboard, it's got a nice wide plan shape and outline. It's going to be really forgiving, easy to paddle, and really easy to surf. The rocker is nice and gentle, and the single concave moves across water really easy. It would work for someone getting into a shortboard. It'll also work for someone who surfs at that highest level. It's the pro model of a world-class CT surfer, so it's going to work for someone up at that level. And everyone in that middle, like myself, or most people watching probably, this will probably work for most people across most kind of local beach break conditions, reef breaks. It just kind of works. If you're looking at volume, I'd say this is shaped true to volume. Some boards feel big, some feel small. This felt spot on. I'm 5'10" and a half and I'm 92 kilos, and I generally ride about 30 and a bit, 31 litres. This is 31 litres, felt spot on. If I was to reorder it, I'd get the exact same size. Paddled well, felt like it got across flat sections really well. It was really easy to surf. Look, overall, the keg is one of the funnest boards I've ridden in a long time, and I've absolutely frothed out on it. It's been great to have a shortboard that I can kind of have in the car, and it will work when it's like a 2-foot shory or it's an 8-foot junky onshore wobbly bomb of a day. It's been absolutely epic. Look, I've held on to for a while. I've had lots of surfs. It's been one of my favorites, and look, hopefully you get a chance to check one out too. Thanks so much for watching.